traveling to New Zealand was one of those things that you always seen it as a kid. Like if you watch like Hercules or Xena Warrior Princess, The Hobbit, aka Lord of the Rings. Like if you watch all of those things, right? You've always known what New Zealand looks like. You always say to yourself like, wow, nothing could be that beautiful in the world, like most people would say CGI, but listen, this place is beautiful. I think the first day we went into Queenstown, which is the South Island of New Zealand, and it was really like surreal. We even got on the gondola, which takes you up to the mountain from sea level. And to see New Zealand from that high up was just, oh my goodness. Um, the water was so fresh and blue. The mountains were cascading from different colors, from green to orange to yellow to actual stone caps, and then all the way to the frozen ice caps, which was like, oh my goodness, this is just surreal. Yeah, and it was just like a good time to just walk around and just like stay in the middle of the city. Like, and when I say city, these things aren't really cities, they're more like townships. And just spending time in these townships, we were just like sitting in the middle of the places and just like sitting down. And I actually had a beer and we just watched people and just saw how calm everyone was. And no one had a worry in the world because I believe the environment allowed them to not have that. Although you never really know what people are thinking, but usually when you're in places like my time in New York City, being born and raised there, you just feel like everyone's on the move to something. And in New Zealand, in Queenstown, it was really just chill. Like the folks, you didn't feel any of the anxiety in the air. So definitely a place I would tell everybody if you just want to do a reset or like find a clean palette environment to write a book or a script or just like to just reset who you are and take into focus of the things you want to see. That is probably one of the best places to go and be still. We spent 3 days there, had some amazing food. Um, we went to Ferg's Burger, which is like their staple, and it was good. But there's a place that's not on Google Maps, which is this Thai spot, which is more like a street food cart. And I do not like food off the street. But being there, I was like, you know what? It's clean out here. Let me just try it. And that was probably one of the better dishes in Queenstown. So if you're ever by the water, like that's the place you want to go. It was just like, oh, and yeah, it was really nice. So the best breakfast I had in Queenstown was at a place named Odelay, and they were phenomenal. Like everything they had was so good. I even feel like their pastries was amazing. They had this thing called it was a cinnamon something. Ugh, it was solid. Oh, yeah. I wish I was able to go there one more time. We tried the gelato places. Mrs. Ferg's was really nice. They got like this crazy Bailey's flavor, and it really tastes like Bailey's. It was good. Like I can't even hold you. We went to Patagonia. Patagonia was cool. It was good. Like I just feel like I've been spoiled with Jenny's ice cream. So like you gotta meet that bar or above for me to be like, wow. But the ice cream was solid. I think it's just something that you should experience. So, go ahead and do it. Don't take my word for it. Like go experience these things on your own. Because just being able to travel to a place like New Zealand, you should owe it to yourself to go try everything and anything. Um, what else about Queenstown?
So firstly, just make sure your jackets are all zipped up and clipped up.
We end up getting our car and making our way on our road trip. Because usually when we travel different places, like it's always good to get in the car and drive around. You get to see so much more than to like let someone drive you or get on a train or a bus. You don't get to make stops and see things and, interact. So we got in the car and our first stop was to head to Wakana. And heading to Wakana, like the views were phenomenal. We stopped like 3 times because it's hard to walk past that much nature and that much beauty and not stop and like take it in. One of the stops that's like cliche, but I think everyone should go is the Cadrona Hotel, which was really fun to be at because it's so surreal. Like it feels like although you're in New Zealand, it's like walking into a old Western saloon without cowboys and racist Texas Rangers. And it also had an Irish appeal to it. But then again, like the Irish has had a lot of influence in this country as well. So I believe the saloons probably was invented by them. I'm not a historian, so there could be things I missed, but it definitely felt like I was in a pub in Killarney mixed with a old Western saloon. And it was folks enjoying their beers. The food, the like small plates were really good. We ended up coming back on the way back to Queenstown, but we'll get there. And after we got to Wakana, we went on our journey to climb Roy's Peak. And listen, oh my gosh, whoo! Roy's Peak was like the hardest thing I've done in like the last 10 years of my life. Um, Roy's Peak was, oof. This blood clot early in the morning. And we are doing the Roy's Peak hike. And yeah, it's super steep, but we going. It's Roddy Rods. I think for 2025, I'm gonna challenge myself to be uncomfortable. Often we get caught up plateauing and everything. I want to challenge myself. This is tough, but tough people beat tough situations. My knees are starting to cramp, but I gotta finish. I would hate myself if I don't. So, Roy's Peak is about 5,000 feet high altitude. And listen, there are no breaks. So if you're not prepared to do something like this, train for it, not train for it, but like get your body accustomed to just being on a constant incline for about 4 hours. Do not do this if your body is not prepared for it. Motherfuckers can't stop me. I fucking did it. I fucking did it. I am popped. My legs are defeated, but I fucking did it. Woo! Look at that. Oh wow, look, we did it, y'all. East New York, you heard? Um, yeah, oh man, that thing took me down, but it was something where I wanted to just, push myself. I've been in many situations, aka being the bros. I've pushed myself to doing things that I didn't. Oh, we did it. And I did it with this fine fella too.
Yeah, man.
So who's the person you dedicate this hike to?
My family.
Amen.
What about you?
My mother.
No, no.
Yes. After Roy's Peak, we were supposed to get back on the road and go to our next location, but we actually took a nap in the car, like a 3-hour nap, because it was not good. We really needed to rest up. Franz Josef is known for having some beautiful glaciers, and in the spirit of doing these beautiful glaciers, I had to do it myself. And I got in a helicopter, which is so out of my comfort zone. Another time getting out of my comfort zone, conquering things that I don't think I was ready for, and I end up getting through it. So we got in a helicopter and we took the chopper all the way up to the top of the glacier. And I stood on the glacier on the mountaintop. Sick. It's one of the most beautiful things I ever seen. To just even be up that high, the air was so fresh. Man, like it was amazing. And I haven't touched snow in like 2 years. So, I got my dose. Then from Franz Josef, we headed back to Queenstown and we went to Auckland. And Auckland is one of the major cities. Then after Franz Josef, we made our way back to Queenstown because we had to catch a flight back to Auckland. And we got to Auckland, and one of the things I gotta say about New Zealand is that their espresso martinis are top notch. Like super top notch. Like they got the recipe down. Like it's almost like they invented it. So I gotta give it to them. After that, walking through Auckland, we went to the War Museum where we got to see a haka performance, and it felt so. It brought it out of you, like I feel like growing up in East New York, we're like natural born warriors. And I felt all of the energy they were giving. I felt it, like it activated something in me, but it didn't make me feel rage or violence. It just made my spirit feel till it was about to burst. And I felt that. I felt connected to them when I seen it. Usually you see it on TV, and I was surprised, like I was wowed, Shout out to the native people of New Zealand for giving us that experience. The rest of the trip, we just walked around, and I think we landed on the best culinary experience in New Zealand. We went to Alma, and Alma was chef's kiss. Everything down to the dessert that I couldn't have because it had nuts in it was amazing. Like wow, like listen, they took their time, they prepared those dishes. You could tell they prepared them before they cook them, like it's a 2 to 3 day process before they serve it to you, because the flavors were just there. And then we finished Alma with this ice cream spot called Duck Island, and Duck Island is fire. When I say, like, remember when I said about you have to pass the Jenny's bar? They are up there with Jenny's. Like all of the flavors was phenomenal. And I never tried kitty flavors, but they had this one called Fairy Bread, and it was everything. Then they had something that was like a brandy snap. Mm. Listen, if y'all served in New York or LA, I'll be there every day. One of the things also that I noticed about New Zealand is that we didn't see a lot of native people unless they were in commute. And that saddened me a little bit because once again, colonialism at its best, still pushing people out. And then, one day I just hope that people can get their land back. Like, I think at some point it has to come to an end. When colonialism and capitalism crashes, it's gonna be us picking up the pieces, rebuilding, and I just want I just want people to have their fair share, their fair amount of land. I want them to be present in places like Queenstown. I want them to be present in places like Wakana. I want them to be present in places like Franz Joseph. I don't want it to feel like the people who are natively there are not even a part of the land that they're at. I want them to be there. Like if you go to Africa, you see black people, you know that they are of the land. So I want to see that more. Um yeah. I have no notes on New Zealand. New Zealand was a trip that we wanted to go to after Australia, and we capped it off beautifully by spending the beginning of the year in Australia and celebrating New Year's Eve in New Zealand. So we got to see the southeast region of the world, and yeah, it was amazing. So more trips to come. I think Finland might be next. Yeah, Finland. So I think this new year is gonna bring a lot of content, a lot of. I want to sit down and start sharing my thoughts. Don't know if you guys are down for that, but I think I have a lot of opinions and a lot of things that I think about, and building community and in conversation. I think it's time to share. Um, yeah, I just want this new year to bring everybody something new, something fresh, something real, something good. I just want this year to be just good to everybody. We've already suffered enough. Since I've been back, we had the LA fires, and that's just like, we just need to do more to help our citizens of the United States, and we're not doing enough. And as far as from a government standpoint, but I think we should just keep trying, keep holding each other up, and keep being there. Because I want this new year to be great for everybody. All right, peace.